Well, good afternoon, Grunts. Uncle Brian here, trying to throw out some more content. Got some more random shenanigans for you today. Before I begin, we had quite a thunderstorm here last night that dumped a lot of rain, produced high winds, like 85 mile an hour winds. Knocked out power. I was without, the majority of my community was without power for a good part of the night. I mean, I went to bed. It was around midnight, kind of thinking before I went to bed the power would come on, and it never did. And so I, with my cell phone flashlight, crawled up the stairs and into bed and proceeded to fall asleep. But uh, woke up to power, so that's a good thing. Didn't have to take any loss from the, didn't lose anything from the freezer or the fridge. Everything is good there. Um, but I was kind of wondering when the power went out. I'm going to back up a little bit. One of my favorite sayings I tell people was like, "Hey, Brian, how you been doing?" I said, "I'm doing good." And then, of course, I'll come out and I'll say, "I'm enjoying the decline." People look at me like, "What? What do you mean?" In my eyes, society isn't the same as it used to be. Um, and what I mean by that, I mean when the men stop participating in the labor force, they stop contributing to gross domestic product, they just check out altogether. And I follow Aaron Clary on YouTube, and I've actually been reading a handful of his books. I'm currently reading his book of numbers, ROI, in Pursuit of Women. And the next book I want to read is, I think it's his newest book, is um, A World Without Men, Analysis of an All-Female Economy. I think that's going to be a good book. And I'm kind of hitting towards what he's been saying. And when the power went out, I'm sitting there in the dark with a flashlight, and I'm thinking, is this going to be the time when the lights don't come back on? you know, and how we always hear, and I've always told guys that that women don't need men, that women need men like a fish need a bicycle. Um, and I wonder about that at times and contemplate, and I think, I wonder what it would be like if the decline did happen, say next week, for example. What kind of calamity would ensue if all of a sudden men just checked out, didn't participate, they didn't go, fuck it, you girls can have this on your own, we're not going to back on, because by trade, by history and tradition, electrical lineman has always been and will probably always be a man's job. So when the lights go out due to like that thunderstorm that blew through here last night, or a blizzard, and the lights go out, guess what? The local electrical department is sent out to investigate. Hey, we need to get this fixed. We need to turn the lights back on in the community. So they send a bunch of guys out there in the middle of a snowstorm, or like last night, a thunderstorm, to find out and to quickly and efficiently and as safely as they can turn the lights back on. But what would society look like if, when the lights went out, say they went out next week, for example, and they never came back on? Um, I noticed in town last night as I was out tooling around that at a lot of the major intersections here in town, they put up stop signs because they anticipated the power was going to be out for a while. This is normal. This is not your normal outage per se. This is on a bigger scale. Across the street from me, there's a evergreen tree, probably stood, and I'm not good with measuring distance, but I would say 75 feet tall and probably, I don't know, 40 feet wide, 30 feet wide. Right at the root base, was blown over by the sheer wind that come through here last night. Just pushed that tree right over, and roots and all. So this is how powerful that storm was last night. But let's just hypothetically say next week we have a similar situation and the lights don't come back on. What happens to society then? What is gonna, I have some ideas. I know an all out chaos is going to assume. You're looking at during a power outage now, you have not only is your lights out, your electricity's out, your obviously your internet's out, so people can't game and can't game on their phones, or if you've got an Xbox or a PlayStation, you can't play online. So that's going to piss people off. And then you got the scramble for food. There's a whole level of chaos in there where people start scrambling. Oh shit, we need to go to the store. You start seeing looting, rioting, you see increase in crime, you see, and that's what I foresee happening if the lights don't ever come back on. Guys just say fuck it. Like I said, I'm here to enjoy the decline, and I actually work with a guy that would love to see the decline happen before the end of his lifetime. And yeah, it would be interesting while you're still young and able to fend off the parasites. This will happen. You have something like lights go out and they stay off for 2 or 3 days. People start panicking, and all of a sudden, well, I'm out of toilet paper, I'm out of groceries, I'm out of this, I'm out of that. Oh shit, what do I do now? Now you're coming in, trying to come into my home, you're trying to come into the neighbor's home, you're trying to break into the Walmart that's locked up because they obviously can't sell you nothing because they don't have any power. And so you see large scale social collapse happening right in front of your eyes. I mean, there are times I would think, yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see. I'm the Clint Eastwood character on Gran Torino, sitting out there with a cooler full of beer and a shotgun, screaming at people, "Get off my fucking lawn!" That's me. But I think a lot of those people would end up becoming moving targets because, yeah, it would just people that when you put somebody in survival mode, it's a whole different game. And so, but yeah, it was an interesting thought I had last night when I'm sitting in the dark and I'm thinking, fuck, are the lights going to come back on? Is this the is this the outage that's going to decide we're just gonna society's just going to collapse? Just fuck it, let's just get it done and over with. Hit the reset button, start all over again. Um, so yeah, I kind of wonder, what would happen, and that's what would happen when men decide to check out. And what I have in front of me here is I've Googled. I'm no big at comets by any stretch of the means. Hold on a second. All right, where was I? That was the girlfriend calling. She's heading this way. Anyways, what I have pulled up here, I Googled the current rate of GDP. That's gross domestic product for those of you that don't know or understand much about economics. Um, I'm pulling this up because I wonder what what an all-female economy would look like under the current economic environment. And so, as of May 30th, 2024, US GDP was 28.28 trillion, which is a 1.7% increase from the previous quarter and a 5.49 increase from the previous year. The real GDP increased at an annual rate of 1.3% in the first quarter of 2024, which was mainly due to increases in consumer spending and housing investment. And they say, our economic brain trusts say, a annual GDP growth rate of 2 to 3% is considered normal. And right now, outside the big 28.28 trillion, when you break that down break that down in a percentage, the US GDP growth rate is expected to be 2% by the end of the quarter and 1.8% in 2025. So it's supposed to essentially, what that means is the economy will contract a little bit starting into next year. But anyways, if you take men out of the equation, okay, and remember, guys, and I've said this before, men do things for the best interests of women. Society was built to better women's lives. Okay. We have roads, we have automobiles, we have online shopping, the internet, everything. We got Starbucks coffee, we got to where you don't have to cook anymore. We have all these luxuries and conveniences that men have built to make society a lot more lax. Back when you're in the caveman days, I'd have to go out and kill an animal and bring it back to the hut, and then my girlfriend or whatever they would call them back then, I guess your mate would have to cook it. And so, but now, fast forward to current times, where life is on easy mode. Men have made things easier for women, in a sense. Okay, so when you take out and knowing the fact that women don't need men, they don't need them anymore. There's still a couple generations of men out there that are still trying to get that girl's. If I go out and buy the brand new house, or I buy the brand new car, or I lift my truck, bro, I'm going to get the girls out. That's necessarily not going to work. So when the men finally give up trying and they just say, fuck it, or out, you girls can have it. What's going to happen? You're looking at, like I said, the consumer spending will obviously go down when men aren't participating. Nobody, when you look at traditional tradesmen craft jobs, those are all men. Your carpenters, your pipe fitters, your electricians, your plumbers, your masonry guys, um, and not just those guys, but you look at truck drivers, you look at rail industry, you look at how many women don't participate in those line of jobs either. So when you look at outside of when you look at the things that men do, we do more of the infrastructure and logistics type work in the economy. We build things, we move things, we transport things from point A to point B, whether it's by plane, train, auto, or ship. Men are doing those things right now. If you take men out of that equation, I guarantee there is not enough female truck drivers to move the freight demand we have now. There would not be enough female engineers and conductors to man these trains to move the high demand of freight across the country. And then second, you don't have enough women that would build the houses that would need to keep up with demand. And we're not keeping up with demand now with the men doing it. So if you take the men out, we're just fucked there. And so you look at what would happen, I mean, just all out chaos. Okay. And it'd just be bad for society as a whole if men just checked out and say, hey, we're done. Fuck it. You girls can have it. We're out of here. We're going to sit home and jerk off to prom, play our video games, and collect stimmy checks. And so that's just the way that is. And then another topic I want to kind of lightly touch on too is that relationships do have expiration dates. It's not like you buy a gallon of milk at the store and then there's a printed date on there like do not use or do not sell after this date. Well, you don't have that necessarily with the relationship, but most, if not all, relationships do have an expiration date. Ask me how I know. I know. I was married for 19 and a half years, and nobody gets married with the intention of the thought of divorcing later in life. That was not my intention. And it probably wasn't her intention either. But as we've gotten older and we've changed, and as an individual, we've changed over the years, and we ended up getting divorced due to different things that she wasn't doing and different things that I was doing outside the marriage, which made it possible for that relationship to end after 19 and a half years. And this kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier with an all-female economy. You take a, and what's funny nowadays with about a 60% divorce rate in this country, that's about 6 out of 10 marriages are ending in divorce. And a lot of it is happening to guys my age, and if not older, women are stepping out on their husbands thinking grass is going to be greener on the other side. When in reality, um, it's it could be or it could not be. But the reality is, guys, you have to learn that when you're with a woman, it's currently your turn. And just because you make a state contractual agreement to her or a legal binding agreement with her that called marriage, that you think that woman belongs to you. She's property. She's no different, just like my cup. No different than my cup is property. That's where you guys are screwed up in the head there, thinking, well, if I marry her, she's mine. Well, no. Women don't care about the marital contract anymore. And now, especially with the divorce laws being the way they have been for the last 50, 60 years, women are now realizing that, hey, I could take advantage of this system and I don't necessarily have to fuck him anymore. He can just turn and pay me for, if you're like California, it's lifetime alimony. You pay her for the rest of your life. And guaranteed you're going to die before she does. So, yeah, you're paying her dumb ass for the rest of your life. In other states, it's 50% of it's your number of years of your marriage divided by two. So if you're married for 20 years, you're going to pay 10 years in alimony. So, and it's getting to be more and more frequent now that women are taking advantage of the system to where you're not guaranteed to till death do you part anymore. And so, in the way women are, fewer and fewer women. Like I said, I'm currently reading Aaron Clary's book of numbers, the ROI and the pursuit of women. There's only, if you're lucky, 3% of women in this country are marriage material right now. That's 3 out of 10 women that are marriage material. The rest of them are, the other 7 are, I don't know, damaged goods, daddy issues, single mom with tats, multicolored hair. They've drank the Kool-Aid of toxic feminism and think they can have it all and whatever, Um, they're out there on dating apps, social media, trying to repackage themselves, as a 200,000 mile fucking car, trying to repackage themselves as a brand new item with a brand new price tag on it. Well, that's not gonna fucking work either. You girls gotta understand that's not how things work. You can't sit there and uh, divorce your guy because, well, he's not doing this anymore. And like I said, and I blame a lot of this stuff on the guys too. When women are bouncing, more likely they're bouncing from their marriage and they're looking for the next best thing, looking for a better option. Okay. You're not it. So I'm going to go find somebody else. But yet, when that expiration date arrives on your relationship, you don't know it's today. It's not, oh, you met Becky and you're going to be happily together for 10 years. And on this date, June 3rd of 2024, your relationship or your marriage is over. You never know. You never know. And she kind of knows because when she decides to bounce on your ass or bounce right on out of your life, she's planned it weeks, if not months before she even executed the date. So you got to think about that too. Um, moving forward when it comes to dating and relationships. Um, Women don't really give a shit. They'll bounce when they want. They reserve the right to leave you at any time. It's not like it was back in the 20s and 30s, or even before that, where you had strong loyalty between you and your wife. I mean, divorce wasn't a big thing back then, but now it's a common thing, and it's guys, marriage isn't a thing in 2024. I wouldn't even consider it. Wouldn't even consider it. So, but that's all I got on this video right now. Um, I'm trying to keep up, put more content out there. I am going up north here Wednesday. Me and the girlfriend are. I'm going to handle some family medical issues on Wednesday, so I'll be out of town, taking a little time off from work to get that done. But other than that, it's warming up here in Nebraska. Hopefully the weather's nice where you're all at. And hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Toodles.